Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another week of Blood Bowl. This week we have Levi's team DWAAAAF facing off against Reaper's team, the Naggarond's Chosen. How are you two feeling about the game today?
A little nervous. It's make or break for both sides, so
whoever wins this game is going to playoffs, and I don't intend on losing.
That is true. So, one of our other coaches, Dylan, currently holds the third place spot and has beaten both of these teams, which means with a tied record, neither of them can surpass him. So unless he loses the next few games, this team will decide 4th and 5th for the tournament, and only 4th and higher are going to be moving on to the playoffs.
I think technically, if everything goes right, I can theoretically end up there. But if I lose one more game, or
for broader standings, just below these guys is Adam's team Gurney, and then below that is the Wisconsin Vamps. Wisconsin Vamps have lost every game; they have no chance. However, if Gurney could go if everything goes right, but that is not going to really be affected by this game. This game will mostly affect the two teams involved. So we're getting into the match and watching the setup phase until we get caught up with these teams. And for now, we're going to head up to the head up to the booth and get things going.
Hello.
All right, and we have an early blitz coming out for DWAAAAF. We're just getting caught up on their first few actions here now. DWAAAAF going to probably take a much more aggressive approach this game compared to compared to the Vamps that they are up against. And it looks like Wisconsin Vamps going right ahead to grab the ball and get moving. Very risky play to make that action first, as a roll fail could mean that none of his players would be moved into position. But roll works out for him. After all, Banis does have a 2-up on the pickup, so it is fairly easy for him to get started. Now he's going to have to do something about the front line. And this many dwarves on the front line, very difficult to deal with. He's going to have to take the edges and try to push out the Longbeards, Cruent and Dronk. But that is going to be very difficult for him. Now it looks like he's making a small cage toward the back line. Probably going to move Talon up a little bit. So what do you think about the matchup this week between such a bashy team and a much weaker Dark Elf team? And our third caster, Camden, has joined us.
Haha!
Welcome, Camden. Camden is the coach of the Gnawhole Nibblers, which we saw, I believe, a week ago in this match, in the season facing off against the Wisconsin Vamps.
that was a fun match.
That was a good match to watch. And it seems the Assassin is going to not land the stab against the Troll Slayer, falling only one short. But with that 9-up, it is very difficult to land stabs against a lot of the dwarves. The Assassin likely going to be much more use in the following week when he faces off against the Gnawhole Nibblers, which have a weaker armor value. So the investment will pay off, but not this game. Camden, have you moved in to spectate the game?
For now. Got it.
Cool.
Loading in.
Sounds good.
All right, I can.
All right, and Kurthel's going to land a knockdown on Dinlid. So, one knockdown, likely going to be all that comes of this first turn, as far as the violence goes. But a decent cage set up further back. Some of the dwarves left free to maneuver as they wish.
With the blitz.
And the tackle going to come out. Camden, if you'd like to skip ahead to where we are currently caught up, you may.
It must not be easy for Mortran to see. Sorry, not Mortran.
I am trying.
If you just press the skip, eventually you'll reach where we're at. If it ends up with like a tiny bit remaining, then you just gotta wait a second for it to catch up to the game.
Frank,
It's got quite a bit remaining.
Okay.
What turn is it?
We are on turn 1 for the dwarf side, and Rick Drengi Troll, the Troll Slayer, just knocked down the assassin for the Naggarond's Chosen.
I'm up to beat. I'm up to beat now.
Wonderful.
frankly, I'm.
And that is one hell of a cage.
That is a really good cage. It's going to be very hard for a slow team like the Dwarves, but if they can make a nice knockdown...
Ooh, that's not good. Oh, right, they have block.
Yeah, block.
He's got block, it's fine.
So that's going to be good for the Blitzer for the Dwarves, but it is also kind of lucky for Reaper, because now he doesn't have to worry about a Dwarf getting an adjacency and putting his tackle zone on the ball carrier.
All right, I need to ask...
Early foul, as is expected of Dwarves.
I need to ask
And
a question.
there's the KO.
I have to ask a question.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
How the hell can Bannis see the ball, much less the entire field? Have you looked at this guy's face?
Yeah, that mask.
idea.
That mask is
Look at that.
pretty concealing. I'm sure he's got something to do that. It is important to
Maybe
mention.
Maybe that's why he favors the cage.
Perhaps it is important to mention that Levi's death roller Eckerson is sitting on the sidelines for the first drive. So it looks like he's saving that up for the first time he gets to receive the ball.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so because Secret Weapon only triggers, for anyone watching who doesn't know, any player with Secret Weapon is removed from the game regardless of whether or not they were still on the pitch after they participate in a drive. So most people will keep them out for the first drive, but out on the field first drive. But if you keep them off the field, then you can put them in for another drive later, but you only get them for one drive. And the Death Roller has a huge amount of strength, very useful against the elves, so he's probably thinking of using that later on against the Naggarond's Chosen. Looks like we're going to see a small handoff to Bethleen to get a much better
I was about
movement.
to say, Naggarond's Chosen are all forced off to one side. Like, this is actually a really good counterplay from DWAAAAF.
It is,
Like, it
absolutely.
doesn't look like it, but it's very subtly one of the best things you could be doing.
And an interception from the Dwarves. That is going to be a horrible turnover. There are no Dark Elves in the area to cover that interception.
I didn't think that they could jump that high.
I mean, I'm as surprised as you are. And it looks like we're going to get the Troll Slayer immediately coming out after the one blitzer in the way, and there's the knockdown with an armor break, and Beth Lane's injured.
That's really bad luck.
Absolutely. Fortunately, only a badly hurt, so no long-term effect, but as far as this game goes, this drive is going to go the way of the Dwarves, and we're probably going to see a turn 3 or 4 Dwarf touchdown, which...
Yeah. Also worth noting, Naggarond's Chosen does not have an apothecary, so any damage that the Dwarves can do, and these guys are already frail.
Oh, absolutely.
So any damage that they could do is going to stick.
So I know there's no Chaos Dwarves team in the league, but is there one available? I can't remember.
Chaos Dwarves are an option, yes.
Okay.
I don't know I don't know if that is a mixed team or not, but you can play Chaos Dwarves. And it looks like the cage is going to the former cage getting a little bit of pressure. I don't really agree with Cadlil being forced out the way that he was. He can get in the he can get out and mess with the play a little bit.
That's actually a pretty big deal to follow up right now. Just lock everybody down. Oh no!
And that is an excellent lockdown on those 3 Dark Elves, but again, Cadlil sitting in the open. It looks like that's going to be covered right now. It looks like
Going for it.
Looks like the cage is getting set up. Cadville does not have an easy way to get around towards the Longbeard, and with that much support, he's not going to get much out of it. Now we're seeing a very
he's going for another foul!
open foul. And that one is not going to pass.
Nothing. Ah, yes, senseless violence.
So
The best part of
how
Blood Bowl.
many?
Absolutely.
How many drafts do you think they drink between
Dodgy Dwarf.
downs?
Uh,
You know they're refilling those steins every time they run off the field.
I give it about a half. Dark Elves are pretty fast, so like between touchdowns and stuff, they probably don't have that much time. Maybe
True,
about
the
half.
Dark Elves probably take the field quick to force the dwarves out before they can drink their energy juice.
Quote unquote energy juice.
All right, and a somewhat unconventional but solid cage set up by DWAAAAF. We're gonna
Yeah,
see.
it's very haphazard, but yeah, if it works.
It certainly seems like it is going to work to some effect because it is not going to allow the Naggarond's Chosen to actually get a 2-die. They are getting several 2-die along this side here, probably looking for a...
Done.
Only a stun here. Probably looking for a KO or injury
Yeah, at
just to
this
try and
point,
keep
that's all you
things
can hope
down. And it looks like we're going to see a lot of Dark Elves start to swarm around this cage. Hopefully, Reaper is able to set up a decent defense of tackle zones. But odds are, if he makes that play, the Troll Slayer is going to blitz one of them and just get things done with...
Troll Slayer doesn't have to blitz anymore.
No, not anymore. Cadlil is pressed right up against the ball carrier and most of the dwarves. And it looks like the assassin moving in, probably going to go for a stab on one of the Longbeards. No, it looks like he's not going to. I'm surprised.
I know he found his way in.
Good.
Oh,
And
no.
he's going to fail the going for it. A reroll being taken, very crucial, and...
That is the worst thing you could have asked
Yeah,
for.
unfortunately, no knockdown. He's just going to have to keep this somewhere within his grasp so he can try to keep a little bit of pressure on. And it looks like...
Now that's an interesting choice. But
definitely. I would have considered moving Cadlil just a little out of the way so that only Erdrin would be adjacent. Then he would have had to use his blitz on getting that player out of the way, but now it looks like for such a strange approach, it is somewhat of a lockdown. The only way to assure a 2-die roll for DWAAAAF is to either give a going for it to Cruent or land at least a push
that's what
with the
he's gonna
Troll
do.
Slayer. It looks like he's going to push.
That's an
More
interesting
Tran
place
out.
to push. Why? Huh.
It is an interesting push, but it's enough to get a 2-die, and Cadlil's going to go
Oh,
down.
right, yeah. Give me the 2-die. Oh, no!
There's a KO, which will hopefully come back after this.
Is that going to be enough for him to reach the end of the field?
No, even with
No,
going
he's
for
got
it,
one
he
more turn.
cannot move far enough. He's going to have to take an extra turn, but he stands uncontested. Another KO.
I'd
Yes.
move his man down the field before doing anything else at this point.
Frankly, yeah, I would have to agree. Move down the field and get some of the Longbeards onto cover, but it looks like he's going to go for a blitz onto the assassin.
Oh, no.
He's getting very lucky.
Some very good rolls coming out for DWAAAAF. I wouldn't be surprised if the assassin gets...
Do not roll the foul before running your man down the field.
And block coming in handy once again.
There he goes.
There goes the man downfield.
You got very greedy there, Dwarves.
Ooh, took 2 going for it. Barely passed the first, got the second.
Can we actually see the rolls?
We can. If you
Yep.
look down to the bottom
Go
of
to
your
the bottom.
screen, it'll show you the...
Oh, I
Yep.
had not noticed that.
So for those of you watching here, he made a going for it 2 up with a 2 success, and a going for it 2 up with a 6 succeeding.
Yeah.
The game does offer percentages as the base option. I prefer to use the die rolls.
I love a good game of Blood Bowl, but it doesn't matter whether the game is fantasy or not. I absolutely despise air horns.
Naggarond chose it. Oh!
However,
A successful stab, and Grimrom has been injured. Fortunately, just
Just
badly hurt.
badly hurt. However, I must say,
Apothecary likely going to not be used here.
much as I might dislike,
Nope, yeah, he saved it.
Hey, he's
Much
going
as
to
I
save
might
the
dislike
Apothecary.
arrows-
He does have the Death Roller to move in for the next round.
much as I might dislike air horns, they could be vuvuzelas.
Yeah. That is true.
He's not even within blitzing range.
No, he is not. He's just got to Frankly, at this point, if I'm Reaper, I'm either going for a couple of KOs and injuries before the half, or I'm just getting as far away as possible.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Riffin can make a blitz. Barely. Like, he's gonna have to go for it twice.
Yes, but unfortunately, the blitz has already been used by the assassin. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to go for a foul here to try and keep one of the dwarves off the field. Beautiful high-arcing axe kick. And just going to be a stun. No one sent off, though, so in the end, no effect to the game.
Now the question is, what does DWAAAAF do with his next turn? Does he go for maximum carnage, or does he take the safe play and get that across?
Frankly, at this point in the game, I would think he would go for a little bit of carnage. Dark Elves are known for being able to score quickly in the right situation, so I would vote keep the turn going a little bit longer, try and minimize the possibility of the Dark Elves coming back from this when they receive the ball next half. After this.
I would go for one more hit with, well, I would have moved Cruent up to get
I think he's going to try to foul the assassin.
To get an extra buff.
He didn't follow.
There is a chance he could, but I'm not sure if the assassin is the best one to go for, because armor is tough to break on dwarves. It looks like he's just going to go for the run-in.
Yeah, he just breaks his attacks.
Right, so the assassin stab is reliant on the armor of the defender, and with how strong dwarven armor is, the assassin poses not too much of a threat, where just knocking the enemy prone with some well-placed blocks would be more effective.
You know what? I've realized something about the Steins. They must have some sort of rune on them, because that was empty when he beat somebody's head in with it, but he clearly took a drink from it just there. So
I would not put it past the dwarves to have a rune that fills their beer mugs.
I would.
And he's in.
And it looks like now there is no choice for the dwarves but to bring in Eckerson.
I must have to say here, where can I get those runes?
I would love a rune like that.
I would too.
I thought you hated every drink you've ever had.
I've liked a few. But, like, a Mike's Hard Margarita is within the ones that I've liked, but...
Well, I don't get to play my game today, so I don't get my Blood Bowl Guinness.
Ouch.
You can still drink the Guinness.
Yeah, but I want to save it for Blood Bowl. All right.
Ooh, that's a quick snap.
Yeah, quick snap for Naggarond's chosen. Very, very good for them being able to get the ball and get into position, especially for a team that relies so much on their speed.
Yeah, notably, DWAAAAF got through that whole first drive without using a reroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed they did, and it looks like Naggarond's chosen making the smart choice of getting as far away from that death roller as possible. Which, I mentioned before, don't know if you've both noticed, the death roller has multiple block, which means he can target 2 adjacent opponents, but he increases each defender's strength by 2. That being said, with a strength of 7, that's not going to be a huge problem.
How do you get these dirty players? Are they just available to certain teams and not others? Are they?
Yeah,
they are available to certain teams and not others, and most teams have access to the goblin with a chainsaw.
Okay.
As a star player, that is. But yes, the dwarves have access to the death roller as part of their team. And
I just wasn't sure if they were the inducements or whatever they are right before the match, or
yeah,
if they're...
the star player inducements, most teams get either the chainsaw goblin or maybe something else. But
yeah, it's very rare.
Yeah, goblin teams have
first thing they do is get the ball.
Yeah, I really cannot agree with doing these plays so early without putting up position, but it seems to be working so far. One SP for Riffin, who currently didn't have any, so it's...
Haha.
At least good he's getting a little in there.
He might level by the end of the season now.
This is not going to be easy for the Dark Elf to crack.
Not at all.
Like, the Slayer is forcing them to push to their left. To Dark Elf's left.
Mm-hmm. And there aren't any openings for the Dark Elves to make a move through. They're going to have to make their own, which means fighting the dwarves, and that's not going to be the best case scenario.
I mean, does anybody really want to fight this Blitzer?
Does anybody really want to fight a dwarf?
I mean, I love fighting the dwarves. That's just me, though.
And it looks like we're going to get a blitz out from the assassin, just going with a block this time, but it's going to pay off. As I said, usually getting the 2 die is better than trying for a stab, especially on high armor. Frankly, Adam,
this Death Roller is within range to blitz without having to...
True, only in range to blitz... Oh, no, in range to blitz 2 units. And that's going to wreak havoc on the cage. Let's see, 1, 2...
Oh, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they can do it.
He can. It'll take one. It'll take either a going for it or a dodge, but he can blitz the runner. And at that point, I would ignore the multiple block and just go for the guaranteed strength.
How many? Ooh, jeez. I'm looking at how many upgrades Death Roller has.
It's a level 2 Death Roller.
It is a level 2 Death Roller. The only actual buff is multiple block. A lot of those are either starting good traits or starting nega traits.
My question earlier, to be more specific, was: are they just able to pick one of these players to put on their team, or do they have to pick this as an inducement?
The Death Roller is part of the team. He is not an inducement.
And
there comes the Death Roller blitz. It looks like he's just gonna shatter the side of the cage.
Oh my!
And the runner is going to be forced out of the cage.
Oh, the humanity.
Wow,
is it the humanity if neither of them are humans?
Good question.
He's gonna try to crowd surf.
Oh, the runner very close to getting surfed.
Here.
There is no blitz available for him to pull it off this turn, but he can certainly lock in the runner by looping a few of the dwarves behind. They're not very fast, but they're fast enough. And
he's gonna lock this down.
Absolutely. Looks like he's favoring
the Adam strat.
Yeah, kind of. Which is very, very amusing to watch with dwarfs.
To reiterate what the Adam strat is: cage the ball on the side of the field.
Cage it as in you literally surround, like they can't move.
Yeah.
Oh man, frenzy. Oh.
So from the match a few weeks ago, if any of you were watching, Adam literally stacked 4 of his skinks around. Yeah, 5 skinks around the ball carrier against the side. Oh, looks like we're gonna have a failed going for it roll.
He's gonna.
Frankly, I disagree.
I think he wanted to try to get the Slayer to move, maybe. But like, honestly, the Slayer's fine right there.
I think the Slayer's fine where it is, but frankly, I disagree with the use of the reroll. I think that.
Yeah.
I don't think that getting that dwarf in was too integral to keeping this, to keeping the Naggaronds locked down.
That was only a 2.7 repeating % chance.
1 in 36.
Yeah. That's a push.
And that's going to leave an opening along the side of the pitch. Naggarond's Chosen are probably going to take it and force the dwarves to try and dodge.
This game. Like, Erdrin's been incredibly...
Erdrin has leveled, and he has 10 XP. He would have had SPP. He would have had 5 before. So he got at least 5 already.
Just as a reminder, although he... what was it? Although the... Although there was a 1 in 36 chance for that to fail twice, once it's failed once, it's a 1 in 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's the blitz. Just going to put another lineman in, try and muck up the works a little bit. I would expect to see Cadlil.
I don't know if I agree with that target.
I'm not sure I do either. I think Cadlil should have blitzed into Erdrin. I think that he is a much bigger target for the Naggarons right now. I'm guessing he's going to move into position to try and lock it down a little bit, and he is.
And this Death Roller is no longer relevant to this game.
No, absolutely not. So long. I don't know if he should have followed that or not.
I think it's fine.
I think it is. The dwarves don't have
It is another thing that just says the Death Roller's not going anywhere, which honestly is fine right now.
Absolutely.
Specifically because, I mean, you know the Death Roller is either going to move into to assist with getting rid of the ball, or it's gonna run run over this assassin or somebody. Like,
I fully expect the multiple block to come out into the Blitzer Hell Hill and the Assassin Fearcaller, because right now neither of them have. Oh, the stab not going to.
Turns out
wow.
you can't stab metal.
He rolled a 10 though, just one off succeeding the stab. That would have been
on a multiple block.
Massive. I know, which surprises me. I would have expected multiple block to come out here to try and free up more players. But we are going to see a successive block from Cruent. And that is going to free up the Blitzer Dinlid, who could possibly go for a 1-die on the runner.
He is.
And it looks like he... No, I guess not.
Misclick.
That seems the most likely to me. Levi is probably not very happy about that. We can expect him to pick his next character after 10 more seconds. Oh, never mind. It's a dump-off. Oh, the dump-off is going to fail and the ball is loose.
So wait, a failed dump-off doesn't lose you the...
Because he doesn't. You only make that action on your opponent's turn.
Right.
Oh.
Yes, so the failed dump-off does not affect you. And it looks like he's going to step for the ball and get a hold of it. That is huge.
Throw it to the death roller. Throw it to the death roller.
The death roller has the no-hands skill. He cannot possess the ball.
Boo.
I know. It's very upsetting, I know. I would have expected the follow-up from Erdrin to try and keep these two stuck on the sidelines.
You know what I love about the death roller?
Another failed going for it.
Oh, he's gonna do it. Well, I mean, think about it for a minute. It's not easy for the elves to actually get the ball back right now.
No, absolutely not.
And he's not trying. Like, you care less about scoring right now and more about just not letting them have the ball.
Get it down towards the other end of the field so you can score as the.
Well, no, there are only 2 turns remaining in the first half after this one. I believe the point Camden's making is just that he will receive the next kickoff, and he's already up 1-0. There is no real priority for him to do something with the ball now. Frankly, at this point, I would be doing as much as possible with the death roller and trying to get some injuries because he will lose the death roller after this half regardless.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying try to get him down towards the other end of the field so if you can get a score on the final turn.
Well, right. I think his biggest priority right now is just rolling block dice.
Absolutely. The only way he could have possibly attempted to do the play that you are considering is if he had moved one of his...
It's gonna be 1 die. Oh!
And he's going to get the knockdown.
But there's...
I don't know. That's pretty close to the end of the field, dude.
At that point, I would consider a reroll. I think I would take the... Oh, he tries for the pro, not going to make it. No, don't. That's
He's
a 5-up.
rerolling the 5-up.
Well, the
Yeah,
half
he is.
is almost over, and you get all your rerolls back at the beginning of the next turn.
But it doesn't end the turn. There's no reason to use your rerolls right now.
There is. At this point, I'm not... Yeah, he is going to go for the play I was thinking of, and he is going to get the ball out.
He can't pass it now, though.
True.
He missequenced that. Because now there's a chance... there's a very real chance somebody gets crowd surfed here.
There is absolutely. I think now what he's going to have to do... It looks like he's trying to reduce the number of tackle zones on his other... On the assassin to try and get the assassin into cover for Banis, the runner.
He's got to get through 1. I mean, it's not like the death roller can exactly throw, you know... Death rollers aren't good at making people trip. He's going for it! Oh, I thought he was death roller there.
he's swinging at Ulir. He would
be like, wow, that's brave.
All of those dice would be red if that was for the death roller. No, I think his best play is to try and protect the runner with a sideline cage. Ooh.
That was the decision that they just made.
We can agree on that. And
incoming crowd surf.
Yeah, crowd surf on the way. That speaking of crowd.
Oh no!
Oh, and there is no reroll.
Why did he do that?
I think he was trying to get pressure off the Troll Slayer, but that is going to be a touchdown for Naggarond's Chosen.
He just punted that away.
And we are going to go into the second half 1-1. And we have ourselves a game of Blood Bowl.
That was painful to watch.
That was...
Those
just hurt.
That was painful to experience if you were one of the elves.
Not painful to experience for the dwarves.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, there was no reason to throw that block. You just go for the blitz.
And the knockout. The knockout is back up, and Eckerson is going to be sent off the field. There are no bribes available, so...
Ben, I meant physically. You try getting wrecked by a combine harvester.
And
I'll just pass on that, thanks.
My point has been made.
Yeah,
So,
and
are they just going to set up the front line and just say, forget it?
I think the Dwarf team is going to set up the front line and just try to beat up as many of the Naggaronds as possible before the half. That being said, in a very unfortunate turn of events, the Dwarves are now outnumbered. And that is not something that they want against a Dark Elf team. Nice weather, so 1 extra bounce, but not gonna
Don't
pick
pick up the ball. Stop.
Don't do it. You know you can't make it. Just beat up the elves. Ah, the block.
So they high-five each other off the start.
Glad to see a little sportsmanship in this game of violence.
Yes.
And the Blitzer going to be knocked down. There's an armor break, and that's a kill!
He's dead!
Hell Hill is dead!
That is an apothecary to be used, correct?
No!
There is no apothecary!
There's no apothecary! They just tied this up! You want the touchdown? That's fine, but you're gonna die for it! You're gonna pay for it in blood!
Now, to be entirely fair, Hell Hill was already down 1 movement from a previous... Oh, unfortunate. Now...
That is easily the best use of that.
All right, we're gonna head down to the field now and speak to the coaches, see how things are going. Rest in peace.
That just happened!
Rest in peace, Hell Hill.
Hell Hill.
Looks
He
like...
was weak anyway.
All right, so with the board all tied up, no death roller on the field, and the team's even at 10-10. How are you guys feeling about the match?
Interesting.
I must say, elves are fairly.
Go ahead.
Elves are fairly smart. I'm sure Hell Hill had a headstone made before he joined this match, just to be on the safe side.
Levi,
I'm pretty
what are your
sure
thoughts
there's nothing
here?
left of his head for there to be a headstone.
Levi, thoughts?
Well, the first half was going well until he knocked one of my players out, so I rolled a nat 1 on my first turn again. So you can imagine how that affected me again.
I
But,
can.
Going in the second half, I don't have my death roller, so
Perfect defense for Naggarond's Chosen.
Yeah.
let's just see.
All right, well, things are all tied up here. This is shaping up to be one of the closest games so far this season. And we're gonna head back up to the booth for the second half of the game.
Do it.
All right,
must say, I
so
really
things
love
all
how
tied up in score and in numbers.
Yeah. Overall, the defense not looking that much different. And it's a touchback on the... How far back did he kick this thing? Where was he aiming?
I don't know. I didn't even see where the kick went.
The ball's been given to the runner.
And it looks like he's going to move in.
They're going to break through the middle? Oh, no!
Oh, that's a rough early reroll. That's why you got to go for those 2 dies.
Yeah.
Frankly, up the middle, it is an odd choice to make, but...
You have the easiest... I mean, you have most of the cage already, though, right?
True. So, on one hand, most of the cage is there for you already, but also the Dark Elves are fast enough that setting up along the edge of the pitch doesn't really give you an inherent advantage, since you will get caught up with very quickly, no matter which side you go.
Yeah.
By positioning yourself in the middle, you give them more that they have to actually deal with.
Absolutely. This is a strange cage being formed, but I like it.
Let's say the blitzers, well, should be blitzing.
This looks like how I play chess.
You play,
Try to keep things even.
you play chess with dwarfs?
I mean,
You don't?
Well, it looks like we have all the dwarves in the shape of one of those Atari ships that kidnaps you. So, we'll see if the Naggaronds have...
Galaga, all set to go. Not even a blitz. He's dedicated.
that would be Namco,
Absolutely
by the way.
dedicated.
That
Oh,
would be
Namco.
Namco.
Well, whatever.
What we do know is that we now have pixel art in Blood Bowl.
You know,
Just
Blood
if your
Bowl pixel
pixels
art,
were small, muscular men.
small, muscular, drunk men.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wait,
so...
Naples?
I don't quite see a favorable blitz for the Naggarons. At this point, they're ending with a lot of players adjacent. This is going to...
I mean, this is super because that blitz, that blitz every turn is so important to breaking a cage, and you just can't do it here. Oh no!
Ooh, he's gonna have
Another
to use a
early
reroll there,
reroll.
but he will get a knockdown. So he is gonna get the Troll Slayer knocked down. I don't quite agree
That
with
gives an
stepping
opening going
through into the
forward.
cage.
Yeah, that seems suspect.
Yeah, at this point, I think his best play is just to try and slow the dwarves down, let them make the mistakes.
It does open you up to what they're doing now, though, which is
piercing inward.
Yeah,
force your
absolutely.
way inside.
They are going to have to start setting up the rest of the Dark Elves. The Reaper will have to set up the rest of the Dark Elves around the sides, though, because if they don't, the dwarves aren't very fast, but they are fast enough.
I think the mistake made here was that he didn't push the one Dark Elf forward a step. He instead moved him to the side. If he'd stepped forward, he could have then put the ball carrier in a position where he'd have to worry about a dodge to
I
continue.
mean, what's more interesting here is that there's a real world where Gerard just offloads the ball to somebody else, and then they just they just flush out that way.
True. However,
Like, DWAAAAF has so many, it doesn't look like it, but DWAAAAF has so many options. And they're going to start with just punching somebody in the mouth, as you do.
I
And
feel
the
like
assassin
Dark Elves
going to
have
get stunned.
overcommitted to this course of action.
I agree.
Assassin is stunned.
I
That's
do
actually
agree
relevant. They need all the bodies they can get right now.
Absolutely. And
Push
it
is,
looks like,
a push is great here.
looks like they could open
I like
up
the
that
stay.
side of the cage with just a couple.
I mean, they're
well
playing
placed-
close. Interesting.
It looks like they're just going to press forward up the middle. By the time the assassin gets up, he may be useless.
I was about to say, it's entirely likely that the assassin also doesn't get up. Like, they might just try to foul him, which is risky, but
They may be pushing in for that kind of play here.
I mean, we're gonna see some really strong attacks here in a second. Oh
And
no!
There's a 2-die. That's gonna be a good knock. And the assassin gonna get shoved out into safety.
Well, safety is relative right now.
Safety is always relative in Blood Bowl.
And another 2-die. That's gonna be just a block.
And another stun.
Another stun. This is huge for the dwarves.
I don't know. I'm not sure how they crack this.
I don't
I don't think they can. They're
No.
down 2. Everybody's in a tackle zone. This blitzer position off to the side here is really impactful right now. That's
At
actually
this-
zoning out so much.
Oh yeah, the 2 blitzers are keeping a lot from getting in through the back.
Whoever thought that playing your blitzers conservatively would be the right play?
Every now and then it is. But it looks like
Uh-oh.
we're going to
And
see...
now the ball's gonna get knocked.
Ooh, ball's gonna get pushed back into the open.
There's still no easy blitz.
Well, there is a blitz right around through the opening on the right, on Dwarf's right side, but
There is, yeah. I
They-
see that now.
unfortunately nowhere to give a second die for that roll.
I mean,
that
there's
being-
nowhere to even get a, like, the first die. You're on 2 red dice already.
True. It looks like they're gonna,
Oh,
but it
maybe
looks
not.
like a lot of lockdown coming in.
Actually,
At
no.
least probably
There's
bring that
the
up to
blitz.
it.
There's
One
one
die.
die.
Just
Oh, that's
the
not what you
push.
wanted. And now that ball is safer than it's ever been.
Yeah, I think he should have sent in one of his blitzers for that play because the runner is the only dwarf on the team without block, and a knockdown is all that's really necessary. But
Another
looks like
push.
just a push.
They're pushing the blitz.
Ooh,
Yeah,
ball
okay,
is
here we
getting
go.
pushed out
Yep.
into the open. The dwarves will have to circle back around this. Still not exactly
I'm
negative
impressed.
for them.
That Slayer held position while being pushed.
He's just wriggling down there on the field.
Yeah. Flopping around.
And we might see another one die block on the left, but I don't think that that's the best idea. Oh,
No,
he's
it's just a
gonna put
movement.
some pressure. Good movement. This is
And
surprisingly
so the
handled
dwarves
well.
have a chance here. They can. There's a real world where they just where everybody gets knocked over, and this runner can finally get out.
Yeah, there absolutely is. I think this is...
Starting with the blitz, as you do. Oh no!
That's going to be a reroll. Will be successful, though. I'm starting to believe Levi when he talks about how horrible his Blood Bowl luck is, but he did just get a stun. And
It's going to be so
One
weird.
die.
that is a risky roll, but it's going to pay off.
It is going to be so weird for the.
Now here comes
like,
the two
for
die.
the decisions for
Is he gonna follow?
The decisions for what, Adam?
It will be very weird for determining playoffs if these two wind up tying here today.
Right, yeah, because while
Because
in
the
game it
tiebreaker
does.
is who wins.
So usually in game, Blood Bowl itself will tell you who's above who. The problem is we had a player who had a coach who joined us for week 1, and he beat Reaper, but then he left the league. So everyone else has been given a free win against this player, and
So we all
have to
agreed
manually.
retroactively.
Yes, Reaper has been retroactively given a win, but we
Oh,
have to look for
no!
that manually. Oh, there's a failed block, and there's a KO for the dwarves.
You gotta move the ball there.
And now suddenly,
When the ball no longer has when it no longer has impact on the ball, you gotta move it. He's gonna get punished.
He's going to get punished. I like the Apothecary, though. I think the Apothecary was the right play. Because if you lose that player off the pitch, suddenly the team that is slow needs to be faster to account for the lower player count.
Yeah. We could see a blitz. Just straight blitz on the ball carrier. I mean, it would be tough. No, we're not going to see that yet.
It would be.
Oh, we might. We do have a blitzer right here.
Yeah,
Or no, lineman,
and it looks
sorry.
like the lineman is going to bring out the blitz against the ball carrier. And this
There
one
we go.
will be successful. The ball is loose. And that is a very favorable spot for the Dark Elves, but they have to get a hold of it this turn.
You gotta move the ball.
And he's got the ball.
This could be it for the dwarves. Like, this has taken so long already.
Now all that the Dark Elves
Like,
have to do is just lock down all of the dwarves, and the ball carrier can just run free. I think next turn we can expect the runner to actually make a blitz on the ball carrier, because he's the only one who doesn't have to dodge out of anything to make it.
Yeah.
And looks
But
like
this
the
is rough.
assassin's gonna lock in.
The dwarves had everything that they needed, and they just messed it up.
Order is so important when making these decisions, and they just made the wrong one. But the reroll's gonna have to come out here. in
No
order to
rerolls
keep
from
enough
either side.
pressure. Nobody has any backups now for rerolls.
There are no subs. There are no... This is just
No
straight Blood Bowl
subs.
now.
It is. No subs, no rerolls. What happens on the pitch is what the
Stays
pitch
on the
keeps.
pitch. Well, what happened?
I mean, it probably won't stay on the
Not
pitch.
stay on the
I don't think it's going to stay
I
on
was
the
about
pitch.
to say, yeah, there are these things called riots that happen.
And there are also
Well, riots also happen on the
get
pitch.
killed.
Yeah, riots do happen on the pitch, too.
Mm,
Interesting. Speaking of riots, an extra turn for both players might be the best thing the dwarves could ask for right now.
Absolutely. It looks like...
It's going to take at least 2 turns for the Dark Elves to get this across.
Yeah, it will take a good 2 turns,
This
but...
is a nasty, nasty situation.
Frankly, if it's going to take 2 turns for the Dark Elves to get to the end zone, a turn 13 touchdown just isn't something that the Dwarves can come back from.
No, they can't.
They need to get this blitz onto the ball carrier, and it needs to work. And it looks like we're going to see the block. And dodge is going to come out.
Doesn't matter. He's out of the picture right now. You gotta take this turn by turn.
And that is going to get him off the ball carrier.
Frenzy?
Ooh, Frenzy is going to...
Oh, no!
Frenzy
Another
could have
push,
hurt
though.
him there, but he's going to get a push. Probably going to... Oh, no, he can't stay. Frenzy.
Yeah.
So...
The ball is free.
And this is going to be
Here
a
we
one-die blitz.
There we go.
And both are going down.
No,
There's no block. It's the
oh,
runner.
no, there's no block.
There's no block.
No!
The ball is free. And Naggaronds have the best stake in it.
Let's see if he messes this up.
Just gonna go for the grab, and he's got it, and he is away. I think that's gonna do it. All he's got to do now is lock down the dwarves, just keep them from getting to the ball carrier. All right, the Radar standing, so that's gonna be a 2-die for one of the linemen. Only gonna be a push, but it is gonna get him further away from the ball carrier.
I was about to say, you don't care what comes up on this dice as long as you don't go down.
I don't agree with this block, but it will work for him.
I mean, what's the alternative? Just not doing it?
I think the alternative of not doing it might have been better. He had a few tackle zones around to make sure that the dwarves wouldn't get a 2-die. And at this point in the game, every single block, unless you can get a 2-die on it, is just going for chance.
At this point, if I'm Dark Elves, I am waking Bannis up, and I am risking it to try and get him.
Oh no!
Oh!
Is there a way to ping? Is there a way to ping? Can we
There
ping?
is no way to ping because we're all spectating separately. And Riffin is going to get stunned. The runner is down. So the dwarves...
The 8-yard line to finish out, to turn that into a full right angle player.
The 8-yard line.
There's numbers on the side of the field.
I mean,
dude.
there is,
Yeah.
yeah. I just find it hilarious that's broken up like that.
It is. It's kind of funny. I think those are actually in meters.
This is my indicator.
I don't know if they're meters or yards, but anyway.
Nobody's within blitzing range.
Ooh, only gonna get a push, so the dwarves are gonna have to.
Well,
I
I mean, Dronk can just punch him.
Drunk could go for
That's
it. He'd
one
have
die.
to make a lot of dodges and going for it's just for a 1-die.
Well, I'm talking about the assassin
I
here.
take the risk. What's your other option here?
You clear out the rest of the place?
Yeah, and
Really? Going for this? Oh, Frenzy, okay.
Yeah, the Frenzy. He's gonna get that pushed out pretty far away. So he might, if he's lucky, be able to get a little ball pressure. But that's gonna rely some agility that the dwarves are just not made for.
Yeah, this is going to take some luck.
Is going for it always a 2-up?
Yes.
It is always a 2-up unless there's a blizzard.
Another dodge.
That's
Frenzy.
a 2-up, but he's gonna get the push.
Again?
Not being punished for the Frenzy once more.
Another dodge.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
Style
that's going to
points?
make it even harder for Erdrin to get into position, so Dronk is the only hope for Dwarf to keep this from going in.
Yeah, he's got to do this now. No!
No!
Do you have a reroll? Nope. Great. We said earlier. We're out of reroll.
Shadowing!
Oh, Shadow.
He's not getting up!
Well, why bother?
Just in case.
You never know. It's Blood Bowl. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
And he's just going to go for it. He's not going to risk it.
I wouldn't risk it
Even
if I
though
were
risking
him.
it, there's literally no punishment because if you drag this game out longer...
It's just harder for the Dwarves, but I think a turn
Yeah, I was about
13
to say, like, I
touchdown.
actually would have just sat the ball there on the end zone and just said, all right, let's play it.
Oh, I've
Let's
done
play a
that.
combat
I've done
simulator.
that plenty. I think I saw you do that back in like week 1 with your Skaven.
I might have.
I forget who you were playing, but I do remember you doing that.
That would have been against Dylan.
It was either Dylan or Levi.
It was Dylan because that was the game where one of his players ate a rock to the head. No, Dwarf was week 2. Dwarf I beat in the first half because I scored 2 touchdowns. He's just like, I can't win anymore.
Yeah, I do remember he forfeited that match, unfortunately. Which, we've since talked to him about how
Oh no!
that only buffs other people. Naggarond? Ooh.
Why are you kicking the ball that far back?
At this point, you just don't want Dwarf to get a chance at it. Sure Hand's gonna save him on that.
Man, there's a frontline gutter runner. You can almost blitz
Oh,
that.
and the ball's getting dropped out of bounds and launched back in
Did he
bounds.
just try to throw it?
Launched back out of bounds. He did.
Why did he throw it?
Because of this, the ball is now right where he wants it to be. All he needed was a lucky bounce. He's only got 2 turns. He
I don't know. I
definitely
would have at least thrown some punches first, right? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
like,
He
you
should
can't
have.
get this in 2 turns. You
Nope,
can't.
he can't. The only possible way that he gets this in 2 turns is if one of his. Oh well, he's not getting
He's
it in 2
got the
turns now.
Oh no!
This is looking a little rough.
I was already looking a little rough. I guess this doesn't change much. Fails the stab.
Not surprised. That's a tough stab.
How do you fail a stab against a shirtless man?
He's got all that blubber. There's the.
Say,
Oh no!
muscle.
That one re-roll is saving Naggaronds from losing it, but at this point,
Losing. They don't care if they lose the ball.
oh no, not at all. But if they can go for that 3rd touchdown, then
Well, wait a minute here. I mean, I guess it would have mattered in the world that Dronk makes 2 going for it. And there we go. Okay, so the only way this works now is if a lineman makes every going for it the rest of the way there,
and
and
gets
they
a
make
hold of
one
the
hell
ball
of a
first
pass.
of
Oh no!
all. Never mind.
It's over.
That is, for all intents and purposes, game. But we'll stick around and see if we can get a little blood out of this one.
It isn't the name.
It is indeed in the name.
No, we're not. Or is he gonna blitz? Oh, I wanted him to blitz.
Oh,
That
he
guy's so
should've-
bad.
But he's still gonna run it in. If he'd blitzed and surfed the runner into the out of the end zone, that would have been the most amazing thing. But that would have been a lot of dice.
All right, throw teammate in the right stuff. Here we go. With tiny dwarf. Is that a secret? Is that a dwarf secret weapon? A catapult? Does that work?
That
A
would be
trebuchet?
amazing if it was, but sadly it is not.
This is why we need gnomes.
All right.
Gnomes in Warhammer
Well-
work half as awesome as they work half as well as they do in Warcraft.
Final
You
2
use
turns.
catapults.
Oh my god!
And there's a free blitz for Naggarons.
No, they don't do anything with it.
Not gonna take it.
If I may,
Frankly, I
No,
don't
they
want
are
to
gonna do
get.
something with it.
frankly,
No,
while
Oh no! Somebody conceded.
before we move over to them, I need to say something.
I don't know if that.
While
It doesn't look like a surrender.
this is in fact, while somebody on Naggarond's Chosen was killed today, DWAAAAF were the victims of homicide.
Oh
All right,
yeah.
Let's move on into game 1.
Hey,
Hello.
hell of a round there.
That was. I'm not gonna lie. Despite the turnout, the game was very, very good.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, as I told Reaper, the moment that I got knocked down on turn 15, I just said GG.
Yeah, because it's like it's game over at that point. Oh, Levi, one
So-
of your guys did level, by the way.
Yeah, I
Did-
saw that.
So did you concede that game?
So no, what happened was we made a gentleman's agreement after the game ended. We made a gentleman's agreement. You've already won this game. We won't do more damage to each other's players. GG, and we both ended our turns without having
Okay.
anything done.
Very,
Ah, no, that seems perfectly
very
reasonable in terms of the
very
league.
honorable, very reasonable, and yeah, you're saving your players.
Wait,
up for
you
future
guys did
games.
something honorable and blood mold? Okay, we can't validate this match. Like,
You
Like-
effectively just broke every rule in the game.
yeah. Yeah, I can't abide by this at all. I'm gonna say that we
No,
can't
no.
validate this.
This is collusion across. No. You know what this is? This is collusion by 2 teams.
All right,
To
well,
fix the match.
Adam, you just want to get into the playoffs. Shut your mouth.
Well,
I
this
mean-
game, I'm guaranteed not making it to the playoffs.
well. So here's the thing. After this game,
quite.
not quite.
Oh no,
So
I've done the math. I can't because right now, if I win
can't-
my next game and David loses his next game, we'll be tied.
You don't
going to the
need
playoffs.
that.
But since
That
he won
isn't
the
what you
head-to-head
need.
against-
you
need
need
Dylan
Dylan
to
to
lose.
lose.
Both games.
If Dylan
Yeah, which is also what I
flops,
need.
if Dylan flops his upcoming games, Reaper has guaranteed 4 wins. If Dylan flops his upcoming and you get just one more, you're in the playoffs. So you are effectively rooting against Dylan for the last
I'm
2 weeks of the season.
Meanwhile, I'm rooting against you and against Dylan.
Okay, well, let's take a look at this real quick. So, Dylan is... What's his team name? Naggarond?
Dylan
Blood
is
Claws.
the
Followers
Blood
of
Claws.
Sylvanas?
No, that's me. Dylan's Blood
yeah,
Claws.
Blood
Blood
Claws.
Claws. Beating Wisconsin Vamps, he should be able to do that.
He should be able to beat Wisconsin Vamps. So
Everybody should be able to beat Wisconsin Vamps.
Well, so Adam, only one of us is going to playoffs because
You
I'm
play against
playing
each
you-
other in the last week.
I'm playing you
Oh, I
last
know.
week.
Oh, I know. I am going to try to absolutely remove you from the face of the earth.
Wait!
all of his
There's
little
no
skinks
way-
are gonna
Wait, hang
swarm.
on here. There's actually a real shot. He can beat Wisconsin Vamps. He can't beat followers of Sylvanas. He can't beat them.
That's,
There's a real shot here.
to be fair, I'm probably going to beat Dylan. So
Yes.
if you can win your upcoming game, okay,
Well, no. The thing
okay.
is, Dylan
The
was still-
only Dylan. So
Well,
Dylan beat Levi, so he is
Yeah, so
always
I
above
still
with an
wouldn't make
even
it.
record. So if Dylan loses his game against Wisconsin Vamps when that comes around, if
Yeah,
by
he-
chance that happens, then
Which-
you might make it because you'll be playing Adam and I'll be playing Dylan, and that is a favorable week for you.
I'm trying to imagine Dylan losing to Wisconsin Vamps. I'm trying to imagine anyone losing to Wisconsin Vamps.
no one has yet.
No, no one
That's true.
has yet.
He
but,
has yet to
uh,
score.
Vamps was how I went from being 0-1-3 to... Sorry, just...
Sports. Not only does he have yet to win a game,
He has yet to score a touchdown.
to
Yeah.
score.
He's
And that's not a slight against him. Like, let's make that very clear.
no, it is not a
We,
slight
we love
against
sports.
him. We love
Sports is
Yeah,
awesome to
sports
play
is great.
against.
Like,
We all love sports. And I felt kind of bad that I just denied him any chance of scoring.
It's
I was
it's
like,
that
no,
he
I'm
is
going to fight you.
Dude, I knew that the moment I was going into that match with you, Camden, I saw Dwarves just Skaven, and I'm like, oh, I fucking. And then when you
Yeah.
had 2 touchdowns in the first half, 5 turns in, I'm like, fuck it. And
This is over.
I hit the big fat concede button.
oh, Levi, one of your players leveled, by the way.
3 of them did.
3 of them did.
So,
Yeah, one of them gave 5 SPP that game.
Oh, yeah.
So guys,
Wait, he had an interception.
well, no,
and a
5
touchdown.
is the MVP. 5 is the
Guys.
MVP.
my blitzer died, but I got a witch elf.
Ooh,
Worth.
that's gonna make things
Totally
interesting.
worth.
That is worth, and frankly, the one you lost was only at 3 SPP, so you hadn't invested too much in him. So
He was also already injured.
he had 3
Yeah.
SPP. His movement
Like-
was hindered. His death is not the hugest loss.
His
Yeah.
death was the... If,
Biggest
anyone,
huge- I
if
don't know.
anybody on your team was going to die, be
Well-
glad it was him.
Yeah, I literally told I literally told Levi it's like, well, you killed one of my blitzers, but at least you killed that one.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this week of Blood Bowl. When we come into the match for the next week's games, we'll fill you guys in on the situation and whether or not Levi can come back for the playoffs. But next week, it's probably going to be Naggarond's Chosen again, their game against... Well,
No, well,
no. Okay. If the Blood Claws lose their upcoming match, we will be covering Gurney Dwarf.
yeah,
If
Yeah.
they win their following match, I don't know what I'm gonna do because
Has
at that
everybody
point
been
it's
covered
set.
at least once?
Everyone has been covered at least once. So
Nice.
if Blood Claws lose, we'll cover Dwarf v Gurney, and if the Blood Claws win, then at that point everything is set in stone. So we'll just see what game looks like. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Thank all of you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week for another game of Blood Bowl.